Welcome to the Mindset Unleashed Today podcast. My name is Tommy Gucciardo, and I'm excited to share my insights and experiences with you to help you shift your mindset and improve your life. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be exploring different areas of life, discussing how to make positive changes. Now, I'll be doing this by interviewing guests who can provide additional perspectives and their experiences. I believe that by making a mindset shift, we can all unleash our full potential and create the lives we want to live. I hope you'll join me on this journey. Welcome to another empowering episode of Mindset Unleashed, where we delve into the power of the mind and the profound impact on our lives. I'm your host, Tommy Gucciardo, and I'm thrilled to have you here with us today. Now, today's topic is really a familiar one. We all face it at some point, laziness, right? But fear not. We're not just talking about the problem. We're diving into solutions, strategies to kick laziness to the curb and uncover the motivation within. So let's stick around, whether you're feeling a little bit sluggish, a little bit overwhelmed, or if you just need that extra push. So, laziness is a funny thing, right? You might be unmotivated and you don't want to do something, and that, it looks like it's lazy. So there's times when I just don't want to do anything anymore. I just don't want to go do the same thing over and over again. And it's not being lazy. I'm caught in that rut. I'm caught in that, I don't want to be, it's monotonous, right? So then monotony leads to laziness, right? So today I like to overcome laziness and let's unleash our motivation, right? Let's dive in and find out what is laziness? Let's understand laziness. So what is laziness? Laziness can be defined as the reluctance to engage in activities or work. Now, laziness is more than just a reluctance to act. It's like a complex factor that hinders our motivation and productivity. But what really fuels this, right? And what causes us to be lazy? So, I think there's a few different reasons, but there's three that I really resonate with. And the first one is boredom, right? And, they have studies out there, and it's shown that our motivation takes a nosedive when tasks become monotonous and there's a lack of stimulation. That our brain needs excitement. And when that's absent, what happens? Laziness sets in. So we're bored, right? We might be going to the same job over and over again. It's the same thing. You punch the clock, you do your job, you go home, maybe you go out afterwards with the guys, maybe you go home to your wife, but it's the same routine over and over again. And that routine gets us to be bored. And that boredom lends us to be laziness. Because then what do you want to do? Do we want to do that same thing over and over again? It's like the definition of insanity. Repeating the same thing over and over again, except expecting different results, and it doesn't happen, right? And another thing that goes to laziness is fatigue. Now today, right, there's so much information. We're bombarded with information and tasks every single day. Right? It's constant overload with the internet, with news, with videos. It just, your mind gets to mush and you get that overwhelming feeling, and that could paralyze us, right? And then what does that do? When you get paralyzed and when you're tired and when you start getting fatigued, you start procrastinating things. I could do that later. I want to do, I just need to rest, or I need to do something else. And that leads to laziness. And the last thing that really resonates with me is lack of sleep, right? And, insufficient sleep leads to definitely fatigue and definitely to boredom, right? For me, I know I need a certain amount of sleep on a daily basis. I need my 6 to, hours of sleep. I don't need any more. I don't need any less. 6 hours gets me to the next level, right? But if I sleep less than that and I'm starting to be fatigued and tired, and, I start, I don't want to do things, and I'm not running on all cylinders, right? And then I become more lazy. So now, how do you stop being lazy? What's the key to stop being lazy and start being motivated? I think the real thing, and and I'm going to come out with this right off the bat, and I think you have to discover your why. What is your vision, right? It's easy to say, all right, I'm doing, let's use a job, for instance, or a business. I'm working at this business, or I'm working at this job, right? But is that your why? Is that the reason why you get up in the morning? Is that the reason why, just to go to a job, right? And, recently I found out, like, for me, my business, I love my business. I love my family. I love what I'm doing. But my why is to help people, right? And that gets me up in the morning. By doing this podcast, it gives me a purpose. It gives me a sense of that I'm doing something. Yeah, listen, there's a million guys that do what I do. But you know what? If I could touch one person, just one person, I help one person, I feel like I did something. So, like when you find that why, when you find that vision, you're not bored with your day. You're not bored with your life. And my father said this a really, really long time ago. He says, if you find something that you want to do, right? Not that you have to do. If you want something, if you have a job that you want to do or something that you want to do, everything's easy, right? So, find that driving force. Find out what makes you tick in makes you go out there and be better, right? The other thing is distractions. It is so easy in this world today to be distracted. We have notifications. We have, social media, the internet. Everything's at our fingertips, right? But that's great, but it also distracts us from what we're doing, right? You start scrolling on the internet, and the next thing you know, it's 45 minutes later. And now your mind is mush, and now you're like, you're mentally not there, and then you become lazy because you're not going back to what you were supposed to do. So those distractions, those really mess with you, right? Another thing that I find really, really, when I say we're boredom and boredom is one thing. Doing the same job is one thing. But you have to learn how to give yourself breaks and create effective habits, right? And there are habits and there are, things that you could do on a daily basis, that help you, right? It could be reading. It could be going to the gym. It could be just taking a few minutes and taking time for yourself and meditating, right? And giving you boost to your motivation, and that helps you without being, bored, right? And now you're getting like just going to the gym or taking a walk, getting that fresh air, right? That could be a routine that kickstarts your day and kickstarts your mind, and helps you get to that next level. And I read something recently, and I started incorporating this a little bit, the Pomodoro technique. And, it's taking a task. Sometimes we get tasks, sent to us, and or something at work, a project that we have to finish. And we get so entrenched in that. And you spend hours and hours on it. And, you don't get anywhere. You don't accomplish anything, because your mind is like so focused on it, and it doesn't, you don't have a break, right? And that can lead to boredom. And that could lead to being lazy and not wanting to, because you're not, getting anywhere. So with the Pomodoro technique, you set a timer, and it's 25 minutes. You work on that task for 25 minutes. And then you clear your brain. And during that 25 minutes, you're not scrolling on Instagram. You're not on the internet. You're focusing on that job at hand, that task at hand. Then take yourself a 5-minute break. You repeat that 4 more times, and at the end of that, maybe you have a 15 to 30-minute break. And now you slowly have created a routine or a habit, that not only breaks up the day, but it helps you stay more focused, right? And another thing that I think is really important is accountability, right? Accountability partners, because we could be our worst nightmare. Right? We could be our worst enemies, and our minds could be, just traps. And, you start getting in that rut, and you start getting into that negative thought process. And, now you're like, I don't want to do it. You procrastinate, you're lazy. And, if you don't talk to somebody about it, or say, listen, today I want to accomplish this, or, by the end of the week I want to accomplish this. And if you have somebody that you not report to, let me take that back. Somebody that you work together with and you're accountable to each other, at the end of the week say, hey, I didn't meet my goals, right? What did I do wrong? What did I not do right? And then maybe you could talk it out and figure out how to get to your goals next week. So it just keeps you on track. And I think the vision and your why is really important. But I think the next thing that's, and I saved this for the end, we could do all these things. We could have the accountability partner, we could do the Pomodoro technique, we could find our vision and our why. But what gets us not to be lazy? It's taking action. It's just that taking that first step. I mean, that's the key. Just take that first step, right? And if we take that first step, everything else falls into place. It's so easy nowadays to get lost and to get caught up in just nothing, right? But if you start, putting some steps in your life that'll help you get through the laziness and the boredom, you can accomplish whatever you want, right? And if you take one thing out of here, maybe you're just taking action, right? Maybe you're just taking that first step on something. Get yourself out of that comfort zone. Then I've done my job. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode on, not being lazy and becoming motivated. I take real pride in what I do here because I really want to get this mindset unleashed out to everybody. So if you resonated with the insights shared today and are ready for a more empowering content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, right? Your journey to confidence and self-discovery continues with each and every episode. Once again, I'm your host, Tommy Gucciardo. I want to thank you for joining us today. And if you can, please subscribe and join us today, right? And let's keep unleashing the power of your mindset.